I'm back. I hope this is a better connection.
Yep, it sounds much better. So,
okay, great.
We were talking about bad habits and how Elements of Wealth is going to change this. Without stealing any of the thunder, for tin or copper or gold, how much do you think bad habits of the individual actually play into the family's crisis versus, this big bad world we live in? What do you think?
First of all, I want to say that it sometimes is really brought in by family, by when you grow up, by the things you watch your parents do, the things that your friends do, who you relate with, how you associate with your friends, what do they do. Much of this is learned, and nobody's born into the world to get wealthy or to be poor. They're just born, and then from there it's a matter of what your lifestyle is like, what you learn. So sometimes it's just a matter of where you grow up, who you grow up with, and what school did you go to? Did you attend college? And if you did attend college, what's classes? There's just so many factors that are involved in this. The real sad part that I remember a saying, everybody says it every once in a while, I wish they teach this in school, because I wish I'd have learned this in high school or in college. Don't they have classes? There's reasons that they don't teach these things. Oh, they'll teach you finance, how to go work for a corporation. They'll teach you a little bit of budgeting. But when it comes to how to handle your money in investments or how to be a better saver at home, there isn't a particular class you can take. These are lessons that you have to learn the hard way. We make it easy. We put all those lessons into a formatted newsletter format that progresses. So as you go up the line of the newsletters, you're going to learn more and more and more. And it becomes a feature of habit. So once you start to find what you need to be doing, it's funny that I just heard you talking about picking up pennies and saving them. I picked up a dime today. I took my dog for a little walk and found a dime at the bottom of the block, and I'm looking at it right now on the top of my desk. So I know exactly what you mean. I would never walk by that, not even a penny. But it's as you live your life, do you look at that way? Are you looking at what you spend as that penny on the ground? I mean, I'm not saying that you can't enjoy yourself, but how? Where do you save? How do you budget? Do you even have a home budget? When you go out to shop, do you use coupons or don't you use coupons? It just all depends. And there are techniques that you can use at the simplest level, the basic 10 level that we teach, that will change your budget tremendously. So absolutely, these are the vital parts at the beginning stages. You can't advance to the next stages until you understand the basics. And that's why in our newsletters, as you progress, we leave the lower editions in, so you get them all at each level. So definitely habit, family, they all play a part in it. But it isn't difficult at all to change, especially when you learn how simple it is. And it just takes a few weeks of setting a habit, and you're done, and you're ready to go for the rest of your life. And it can make the difference between hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars during your lifetime. So absolutely, those are key factors, Kathy.
And so then, Olivia, on the next slide, I think it's kind of humorous, but at the same time, it's not. Whether out the window or down the drain, for most of us, the money runs out before the month does. And we never know how to grab it, because we have both mom and dad working in many of our cultures, and they're barely making ends meet. If just something comes up here in the U.S., like you need a new set of tires or the transmission goes out, it could literally bankrupt the family, And so what can you speak to this when you see, money flying out the window? How does that happen to us, and how will this system help us change?
That's the great question. How does it happen? It's not a matter of does it happen, but for most of us, how does it happen? Why are we in this situation? Why does it cost me so much today as it did in the past? It cost me a lot less 10 years ago Now I make a little bit more money, but I've got these very expensive things I happen to pay for, changing tires like you've mentioned, whatever it is, new refrigerator, new washer and dryer, all of a sudden something breaks. It just keeps adding up. The concepts are simple to correct those issues. In the past, we save a little bit if we can, but then you go buy a car and you're immediately in debt, and all of a sudden you owe. It's turning this situation around and being in front of the situation rather than behind and catching up. And to be in front of the situation takes just a couple steps. And once you're in front of that situation, you've got the money prepared, those opportunities that come up that would confiscate your wealth, to take your money away from you because of some emergency, are already prepared. They're already there. These are the techniques that people will learn, the touches. And obviously I'm not going to reveal what they are. That you'll learn in the newsletter. But this is the method. Now, granted, listen, it doesn't happen overnight. It's not something that next week, you're going to get the newsletter, and 2 days later you're ahead of the game. It takes time. It takes discipline. But once you're there, you stay there, and you never get behind again for the rest of your life. These are little habits that you'll learn and eventually put yourself in the position of how the wealthy keep their money. And that's the advancing process that we have in our newsletters, Kathy.
So essentially, guys, this Elements of Wealth is going to help us, plug the leak. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to just kind of bring what each and every membership includes and how each and every membership might differ, and then how the Platinum impacts probably every membership. And so when we look at this is tin and copper. Livia, we've been talking about the basics, and I see,
yes,
on the screen, budgeting, spending, family. What can they expect in the tin edition? Let's start with the tin edition and then move to the copper, because I know in the copper there's something substantially different than the tin. So start with the tin.
Well, the tin is a step-by-step. I mean, we're talking, when you get to tin edition, you're talking about high school level, basic level, learning exactly how to create a budget for the family, what goes in it. You know that 87% of Americans have never even budgeted? Never. When you learn what a budget means, we all do in our companies. We all know our companies have budgets. Why don't our families? We teach you how to budget through the newsletter. We teach you how to control spending, how to lower it without changing your lifestyle in. There's a lot of methods. The tin will have those methods. The child and in fact, with the family and children's financial education, this is something, and this is probably, in my book, probably the most important part of this. If you have a family and you have children, you will change their lives forever with this information. When they see what their parents are doing, when they see what their family's doing about how they're budgeting, about how they're spending and saving, they learn by observing, and they will change their life forever, because when they grow up, they're going to do the exact same thing. You can talk to your kids, but they're going to model what you do. They can listen, but they're going to model what you do. Couponing is one way that you could save money, especially on the monthly budget. You can find books online that will talk about super couponing. You see the TV shows that show about it. We talk about it. We teach those. Here's the many household savings techniques. Those are obviously in part of the budgeting part. We teach that. So you're going to learn everything you need in the newsletter specifically to how to live your daily life and monthly budget to put you ahead of the game. And then at the end, we'll have a little piece there about market commentary. And really, when I say by market commentary, market summaries, I cover a little bit of what's happening in the economy. Sometimes it's the stock market, sometimes it's about oil, sometimes it's a little bit about politics, but I cover a little bit of what is affecting our lives. We all know that since 2007 and the housing crash, life has changed. We know that life has changed since 2001 dramatically. What's happened? The oil prices. These are things that we knew, or my clients knew, were going to happen because of those events. The brief market summary will help you understand what's occurring and what can happen in the future because of those events. So it'll help you understand what you can do at home to prepare for these things and to be ahead of the game. So that's
I know copper takes a turn in my direction because many of the people have heard me say, home-based business, people wonder why we're in home-based business. I never really understood that years ago. Just the tax advantages. I mean, being able to walk into the human resources department and get a raise on my paycheck, whether my boss said I could or not, was the coolest thing that I did about 15, 16, 17 years ago when I learned some strategy. So the home-based business edition that the copper includes, tell them a little bit about that.
Yeah, let me fill them in on that. One thing that, being in the USA, we have a lot of blessings. They're deductions in our taxes. And some deductions are actually credits. Some are actual just deductions off our income. But with the home-based business, by using that and knowing exactly what parts of what you're spending can be applied to go directly against the income you make in the program. So we know, for one thing, that this is what I find beautiful about this whole concept with Global One. You not only have a system to earn and make a substantial income, but you have the techniques and the technology and the letters here to teach you how to keep it and expand it. And the home-based business version here is going to teach you precisely what you can and can't deduct for your business. More importantly, what I want to teach is this is what I've done my whole life. I've always owned businesses. And there are so many things, so many secret techniques to deductions that are legal. We're not talking anything hokey here. We're talking legal. You'd have to talk to your CPA to validate all of them that we teach you. But you will see that you can write off so much that you can diminish your income substantially and pay very little taxes. And yet, because you used that money in your lifestyle, you haven't changed. In fact, you've enhanced your lifestyle, all the while lowering your taxes. These techniques are taught in the copper version. I suggest, if it were me, that would be the base version that I would always start with at the minimum, because there's so many deductions that people have no clue about, and we teach those in this version, Kathy. So I think people will be very, very pleased with that.
Yeah, without a doubt, I got to tell you guys that if you paid attention to just what's taught in this version, whether you made any money in Global One or not and you had a job, you'd be able to raise your income on average. And I can't promise you this, but I've seen it happen with person after person after person after person by taking legal tax deductions because you're in Global One and you have an intent to make a profit. You're on this phone right now. You are doing things that people do to make money. You have a legal bona fide business. Gosh, I've seen people raise their income $200, $300, $400, $500. I was able to raise my monthly income by $857 a month, before I made any money in my business. So gosh, the copper edition actually rocks. Now, when we get on to silver and gold, we actually enter in software programs. And so, guys, what I want to say here, if you don't have a trading account and you don't think you want a trading account, don't hang up the phone, because somebody in your group might have a trading account. They might want a trading account, and they might want to invest. More importantly, though, might be able to expand your vision in terms of what you'll be able to do with the money that you're making in Global One. Because I started the call by saying this company has taken the responsible route instead of the irresponsible route by launching this program first, because in Global One, there's going to be massive money flowing out the door into massive homes around the world. And it's going to be wired. It's going to be an e-wallet. It's going to land in your bank account. It's going to land in a little amount, medium amounts, and then some of you are going to feel like you had a dump truck dumped in your yard when we start paying commissions, and you know what I mean. But what are we going to do with that money when we get it? Are we going to do something different? So, you have two distinctly different software systems between the silver and the gold. So I see that if somebody's silver, they get everything that's in the tin, they get everything that's in the copper, but they also, you expand into world markets, and then there's software called Easy Trade 360. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Absolutely, Kathy. I want to add something to what you were saying here a few minutes ago. Much of the information in the tin and the copper leads them to this, in the sense that once they capture control of their spending, these programs will be able to take that money, even if they start with as little as $25 left over, as small as that, and will change their lives. So by no means do you have to have this huge account today or have to have any money in investments. You don't even have to know what some of these investments are. You don't even have to know what an investment is, what a stock is. It just doesn't matter today. What you have to recognize is that we teach you all that. We guide you step by step in the process. Along with teaching you that discipline, when you get and you start using the silver and you start using the gold, in this case we'll discuss Easy Trade, you use a simple technique, a simple system that we've developed that has over 87 years of historical research behind it. And by utilizing that particular software package, you can open up a small account with a discount broker. We teach you how to do that. We tell you step by step what to do. These systems are so simple to follow that's ridiculous. The money that you can make by not spending money, by investing it, by saving for it, and by putting that money that you earn in the system into the market and utilizing these tools, they will expand your wealth more rapidly than you can ever have imagined. And Easy Trade is the first of that version. It sits on your desktop, you plug in a few numbers, and it tells you when to get in and when to get out, and this will turn your wealth dramatically. We have returns, and I don't want to discuss exactly what securities. I'm not giving investment advice, but we have returns here that have exceeded 60, 70%, and even 100% in several cases a year. So what we have is a technology that you can utilize when you become a silver member. On the gold, Kathy, we have what's called the COT software, which it'll also include the Easy Trade, okay? The COT software is called the Commitment of Traders. And simply put, that follows the largest investors in the world, period. We know what they do, we know how they breathe, we know how they think, we know when they're in the market, when they're out of the market, and they're planning to get out of the market. We follow them exactly. That particular system, since 1986, has averaged better than 36% compounded per year. And for those of you investors, I know you understand what I'm saying. For others, that is a tremendous growth rate. And so I just want you to understand that as you advance and you climb the ladder and you start to have money there and you start to put $100 away or $25 away, or whatever that is, we have the technology to take that money and grow that money. And so in 5, 10, 15 years, you may be done. You may not have to go to another global one. So it allows you to preserve, build wealth, and the primary thing it does is it allows you to preserve what you've already earned. And then from there, it allows you to build it rapidly. So those two software packages are completely independent of each other, but they're part of these packages. I'm always one who believes in having it all. So my assumption would be to move up to the gold and even the platinum, which I think we're going to talk about here in a second, Kathy.
Well, I have just a bit of a commercial here because I'm listening to you talk, and I was thinking about what Greenspan said about the gold standard. And I was picturing myself, guys, probably about 20 years ago, raising my kids. I stand in a grocery store, and I'm looking at the price of cereal. It was actually Wheaties. And I looked at how much Wheaties had gone up. And I went home and I told my husband, do you realize Wheaties has gone up more than our income has gone up? And that was, kind of like the financial budgeting economics 101 at the grocery store. The inflation right before my very eyes, Livio.
Yep.
It literally, I've never lost that picture. You know, it's like Wheaties and gas and peanut butter is going up faster than my income. Guys, if you live there, guys, the point I'm trying to make is we can't possibly save ourselves into retirement. It's not going to get us there. It's not going to grow as fast as it needs to grow. So I'm full on this software, guys. I got to tell you, I am a Platinum member, and I've got the software because I want to use it. Platinum members, you have it all. You've got the tin, the copper. You've got the U.S. and world market. You've got the Easy Trade 360. You've got the commitment of traders. What I have researched, and I've been with Livio now for months now, guys, people are paying tens of thousands of dollars for Market Cycle 360, plus $100 a month. They're paying a lot of money for this software, and we get it for no upfront money, just at the Platinum membership. And so could you tell us why in the world people would pay you that much money for that software?
Well, you obviously spent some time researching me and were on my site, so you know why. But I will say this, when we started out with this product, we were pricing it, and this was back a long time ago, 15, 16 years ago, and we were trying to find the appropriate price. And I met a gentleman who had investments, and he asked me how much, and I looked at him squarely in the face, and I said $5,000, and he said, I'll take it. And I thought to myself that day, Kathy, I thought, I didn't ask enough. So as I went along and kind of got to know the marketplace, we actually raised the price, and we've actually received in excess of $16,000 per version. There's a feature on the software, in fact, it's part of all of these software packages, called a download data feed. And that basically, what that really means, guys, is it has to keep up with the economy. So in order to make moves or know where we need to put our money or whatever, these things have to have information from the Internet. So we feed that. And because of that, we charge a monthly fee for that. So in addition to that money that they paid me, they also paid me the monthly budget, the monthly $100 at that time. So what we have here is a software package that downloads, keeps up with the economy, keeps you informed, and keeps your money in front of the economy, and thus putting the economy in your pocket. And that's what we have here. We have investment software that will allow you to profit in any economy all year long, no matter where and what economy that's in, whether it's domestic, whether it's foreign, it does not matter. So we have this software. It's available. Our average price has been about $5,000 for the software. Obviously, when the group came to me to invite me to become part of this, the volume definitely changes. So I said, I want to help everybody. That's my nature. That's who I am. And so I said, let's just break that front end down and just offer it as part of the package at the Platinum level. And so I'm happy to bring it to everybody. They're going to have it for a fraction of the cost of what the average person that I have. And I have subscribers. In fact, my subscribership rate is in excess of 78% retention. Okay, 87% retention. I'm sorry, 87% retention, which means people stay with the software. They not only buy it, but they keep it. And the reason they do is it works, period. It works. And so I'm happy to bring it to you guys.
Well, I appreciate that, Livio. And there's something on this slide. I don't know if people are paying any attention to it, but it's down in the bottom corner. It says, in order to succeed, your desires for success has to be greater than your fear of failure. Guys, I know what it's like to buy high and sell low. I get that investment strategy. And so when you talk about investing, it's not always an easy subject, no matter who you are. But the one thing that I do know is this, and I'm convinced of this, guys. Wheaties and peanut butter is going up more than our income is going up. And so what Livio is offering, from my perspective anyway, I don't know if we'll secure wealth. It depends on the choices that we make. but software, sophisticated software that does the thinking for me, it can make it simple. And he's convinced me, once I get my hands on this software, that I'm going to be able to plug it in, and it's going to be easy. Guys, I've drank the Kool-Aid. I believe it's going to be easy because I don't believe he's going to mislead us. And you want to know why? Because we know where he lives. So what makes the software so necessary? You know, Livio, until I met you, I didn't really realize the chaos that goes on that affects my dollar and the value of it. I have watched the news, though, you know, and I hear, you know, something happens in the Middle East and the price of gas goes up and, you know, the price of water goes up. I don't know. The money seems to go up and down with absolutely no control whatsoever. I have no say in it whatsoever.
Correct.
Can you tell us what's actually going on in the world and how the markets play on our dollar, but more importantly, what your software will do for us to help us
I will be happy to. I will be happy to. And this is where I want everybody to pay close attention. The first thing I want to go back to the very beginning of this presentation, and I want to let everyone know here, just because you don't have it today, don't put yourself in the mindset that you can't have it tomorrow. You can. Every single person on this call can have what they want. And it's not a matter of do you have it or did your family, it doesn't matter. It's a matter of learning. These are lessons that are learned. This is technology that has stood the test of time and history. And at the same time, the techniques to save, the techniques to earn here in Global One, and to take a piece of those earnings and to put yourself in a better situation 2 years down the road than you are today. These are things that are learned. So please don't put yourself in the mindset of saying, hey, I can't do this or this is something I don't understand. It's not about today. Get the newsletters. Take your time, learn, and then eventually you'll put yourself in position to change your life and the life of your prodigy forever. And when the children, if you're young and you have a young family, when the children grow up, they're going to have that within themselves, and they won't have to learn it again, and you'll change your family's life forever. Kathy, as for the economy, we know today, you know, it's not just America. America, for so many years, was dominant in technology in all areas of economic growth, and that's why we became the blessed nation with our Constitution. We became a very, very successful country and still are the world leader. But there are other countries out there and other economies like China. They're not our enemy. We don't look at them as an enemy. It's about money. It's about transferring wealth back and forth, exchanging, selling goods and services. Some countries do it better than us. Sometimes our politicians make blunders, huge blunders, and so a lot of jobs go out of the country. These are part of a civilization. They're part of a cycle. And if you know and understand the economic cycle, you can understand where money is going to travel. You can understand where wealth goes. You can understand why Warren Buffett is in a plane spending so much time in China. Then 3 weeks later, you find him buying companies. You understand why the largest financial city in the world is now going to be in India. So what you see is you better keep your eyes open to the world and understand where you can make your money, because it just isn't here alone anymore, just in the United States. It's everywhere. Market Cycle 360 comes with the platinum version, and that's why we named it that, because that monitors where the growth is occurring in the world, and it keeps you informed all the time. For example, I'll give you a perfect example. A few years ago, when everybody was contemplating the decline of the 2001 to 2003 decline in the United States as we were crashing, Brazil was growing. Why stay in the United States when Brazil was growing faster than ever? 200% gain in a matter of 3 years. Okay? Why stay? Why stay in one part? You can invest everywhere today, and you can do it right from within your own house on your computer. So this technology, Market Cycle 360, is the ultimate. It will keep you informed about what's happening, where it's happening, especially with the Platinum version. We also, what comes with the newsletter is we show plenty of different markets, global markets, so you can see whether your country is in a rising market or going to rise soon, or it's going to decline soon. You'll be able to see that in the charting system we provide. Very simple stuff, too, by the way. This is not complicated. Simple and easy to see. And so I want you to understand that it is a process. It is a process, a learning process, and you'll learn it in an extremely short period of time. We teach it very simply. So I want you all, every one of you on this call, to take the time and to spend just a few minutes a day and change your life forever. If you want to receive all the newsletters from 10 to Platinum, it comes with the Platinum version comes with all the versions of the newsletters. So it is always advantageous to start there, obviously, to go to the top. I don't know the comp plan real well, as I'm not part of that part, but I do know that the product is there. For some of you who do invest already or who have investment accounts, Market Cycle 360 will change your life. So my recommendation always is to get as much information in as possible and to act on that information. It's what I do, how I believe acting on the information that's learned. It's the only way you can change your life and ultimately change your family's life. So my recommendation would be to always start at the top with Platinum. I wish everybody could do that. So that's where I stand, and I'm just happy that I'm able to even provide this software to you guys. So that, Kathy, I hand it back to you.
Okay, well, Livio, I appreciate you, and definitely we've gone over time tonight, but, you know, guys, it's worth it. We've never spent this long on a call because at the end of the day, you know, the best life has to offer is simply when you can be in a financial position, you know, to be a giver in life, you know, through humility, and you're grateful for the things that you've learned, and then you can be generous. Livio, speak from your heart just briefly, and then for time's sake, we've got to wrap up this call.
Yes, I will. I think that so far on the call, you've probably felt me. I come from a very humble beginnings. My grandfather was in northern Italy during the war. He was an Italian defending, fighting against the Americans. But at the time, he was protecting my grandmother and her twin sister and their family as they were Jews in the hills. And he learned a lot of lessons in the First World War that his parents lost everything. So he converted his wealth to cattle. And the way he kept my family safe, my grandmother and her sisters and parents safe, was by converting that money into cattle and converting the cattle into salami and meats. And he bribed all the Germans in the area and the commanders in the area to keep them alive. Today there is a house there that's a museum that's built around the kettle that they lived out of. And my grandfather came to the United States. It's where my dad met my mom, both times in Omaha. My dad was a painter. My grandfather was a terrazzo layer. I come from humble beginnings, and I come from lessons that are taught from a very young age. And when I got fortunate enough to be the first Nespoli to graduate from college, the one thing my grandfather told me the day I became a broker to become an investment advisor to help people, he said, Livio, you're going into a business, you're excited. I want you to do me one favor because I've seen a lot of life. He said, when an investor comes in, make sure of one thing, just one thing, promise me, that you give them back what they brought you the day they brought it to you. At least give them that back. Hopefully you'll give them more, but the first thing is just give them it back. I've lived by that philosophy. And so when I did my research, I spent many years researching and hundreds of thousands of dollars in developing the research. It covered roughly about 87 years of research. That's what I developed it for. And I'm fortunate enough and blessed enough that Global One contacted me, and now I can help millions of people, hundreds of thousands of people through Global One. So I'm honored to be on this call, and I just want to let you know that I will do my best. I will give my best effort to continue to do that for all you on the line. So, well, Kathy, I really appreciate allowing me to be on here and allowing me to help people with these products.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's our pleasure to have you on because I think I'm going to learn a tremendous amount. So, guys, let's go ahead and wrap up this call.